What's up, guys? This is Brent with Western Equipment. So let's start out by first talking about the model number on this 2038R. So on the 2038R, starting with the first digit, the 2, this is going to be the family that the tractor is in. So in John Deere tractors, we have 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, and 9s, starting with 1 being the smallest, 2 and going up as we go up. So it's going to be in that second family. The next 3 digits are going to indicate our horsepower. This is going to be the same that we see across a lot of the tractor lineup right here. So this is an 038. Now this tractor is actually going to be at about 37.5, but 38 is really close. Then the last here is going to be our trim level indicator. Now on the 2 Series family, as of 2023, R is the only trim level you're going to have in this family of tractors. But if we did have other ones, you could have E's, M's, R's, and the way those work is that E would be your base model line, M would be your mid-spec model, and then R would be your tractor with the most features. Now, before we get into maintenance points and the operator station, let's talk about some of the things that you're going to see on this tractor. For one, an option that you have in the 2 family is being able to get the loader installed and on the tractor and included in the price from the factory. So on this machine here, we have the 220R loader already installed. Nice thing about this 220R loader is it is easily removable. I actually have a video on how to do this on a 2025R, and it's going to be the exact same process for this, so I'll make sure to leave a link to that down in the description below. But this 220R on the 2038R tractor is going to have a max lifting height of 85 inches. You're also going to have a maximum lifting capacity 500 millimeters out front of the pivot point, which is right here on this loader. So at the end of our bucket here, our lifting capacity is going to be right at 800 pounds. Now, some other things that you're going to see on this tractor is, for one, you are going to have front wheel assist or 4-wheel drive. I'll show you how to activate that once we get into the cab. Some other things, you are going to have your mid-mount selective control valves. That is going to be the hydraulic valves that will control your loader. That is also going to come standard from the factory on this machine. You're also going to have from the factory lights. So the additional lights going along with your headlights, you will have these working lights from the factory as well. These are going to be some of the features that you see that are R-spec features. So in this 2 Series, whenever we're moving up from the 1 Series, the subcompact, into the 2 Series, moving into the compact tractors, you are going to have a few more options here in this 2 Series that are going to come standard, and that goes along with that R trim level. Now on this machine here, the tires that we have here are going to be the R4 tires, but with this machine you do have 4 different tire options that you can have. The R4s here are going to be your industrial. They're going to still have the lugs there, going to be good for working, but they're also going to be really good on pavement. But you can get R1 ag tires, which are going to be that more V pattern tire with the heavier lugs, more for digging in and more ag application. And then you're going to have 2 options of turf tires. You're going to have your regular turf tires and then your radial turf tires. Now the difference in those is the radial turf tire is going to allow that tire to expand out a little bit more, get a little bit more surface area to the ground, and allow just a little less compaction and be a little easier on that turf if you need that for your operation. Now, next thing that we want to do is get underneath the hood, show you what's going on underneath there, and show you these maintenance points. But one thing that I always like to point out is where and how we open the hood. So over here on the right-hand side, we're going to have this little circle here, has the tractor with the hood up. This is going to be how we pop the hood. So what you're going to need is the key from your machine or any key that fits in this hole. We're going to push that in, and then once we do that, we can raise up here on the hood. It's going to be on shocks, and it's going to keep that hood up and out of place when you're doing what you need to do. Now, when we're talking about service points, underneath the hood is obviously where we're going to start. So we obviously are going to have our 37.2 horsepower Yanmar engine underneath the hood here. Right on top, what we're going to have towards the back is going to be our air filter. So our first maintenance point here, air filter, very easy to get to. Right in front of that, we're going to have this large assembly right here on top of the engine. This is our DPF, or diesel particulate filter, and I'll go over a little bit more about what that means here in just a minute when we get in the operator station. But basically, this is your exhaust cleaning system. Now, right in front of that, we are going to have our radiator. Here is going to be the radiator cap. Then right in front of that, we are going to have our overflow tank for radiator. So whenever we're going to add that antifreeze to this machine, right here is where our overflow tank is going to be. And then right in front of that, down below, is where our battery is going to be located, right there in front. Now, on either side of the engine here, we're going to have these removable panels. We have these twist clips that we can simply twist, pull the sides of this off so that we can get to our maintenance points on either side of the engine. But most of the things are going to be accessible without removing those panels. The main one that you're going to have to concern yourself with is over here on the right hand side. We do have to remove this panel to get to the engine oil fill, which is right here. Now, down below that, we can see with the panel still on that we can get to our oil filter. We can also get to our dipstick. We can get to one of our fuel filters. And then if we come over here to the left-hand side, this is where we're going to have our secondary fuel filter. This is also going to have our fuel shutoff on it, and this is going to be our water separator filter over here. Now, the last filter that we really need to concern ourselves with on this machine is going to be our hydraulic filter. That's going to be located on the left-hand side, back behind your rear wheel. So it's going to be located right in here. Now, along with the hydraulic filter, you are going to also have your hydraulic dipstick. This is going to be here at the rear of the machine on the left-hand side of your hydrostatic transmission housing, and then to the right hand side is going to be your fill for that hydraulic fluid right there. Now, also here at the back, as far as maintenance points goes, we're also going to have our diesel fuel tank right up here. This is going to be an 8.5 gallon tank. Now, back here at the rear, let's talk about what we've got going on. So we are going to have a category 1 standard 3-point hitch on this machine. So a 3-point consists of the top link here and your 2 rear arms that you can hook up anything that is a category 1 rear implement right here to the machine. You're also going to have a 540 PTO shaft right down here at the bottom, and then you are going to have an adjustable drawbar also right down here at the bottom as well. Now, some of the features back here at the rear that are nice is your top link is going to be adjustable, and then also not only are we going to have the rear PTO on this machine, but you're also going to have a mid PTO as well, which means that you can have such things as a drive over deck on this machine also. Now, whenever we're talking about our 3-point assembly here at the rear, one of the big questions is how much weight can we lift with this? And that's going to be right there around 1,350 pounds. So when we're looking at adding rear implements to this machine, 2 things we need to consider: what category do they fit? This is going to be a category 1, so anything category 1 we can fit, but we need to consider that this is only going to raise 1,350 pounds, so we need to make sure the weight of our implement is within that range. Now, with the drawbar, with it being adjustable, you are going to have different options there on the equipment that you can use here at the rear. Also, you'll notice that standard on this machine, there are no rear hydraulics, but you can add up to 2 sets of rear hydraulic couplers to this machine, and you can also add a Power Beyond kit to this machine, which is something you would need if you were going to add a backhoe onto this 2038R. So now let's go ahead and hop into the operator station, go over those controls. So I've got my hand cam here, that way you can see from the operator point of view what we're looking at. Now, first thing we'll do is we'll start over here on the left hand side. Over here behind the seat, first thing you're going to see is this yellow lever here, and you're also going to see these stickers over here on the side. So this is going to be your PTO selector. This is what's going to allow you to select either the mid PTO, the mid or rear PTO, or just the rear PTO, all with this lever right here. Now, when we're moving forward, as I said before, this is a hydrostatic transmission, so the only gear shift you're going to have on this tractor is over here on the left hand side, and all this is going to have is your neutral position, low position, or your high position. So to run this machine, all we have to do is start it up in neutral, put this back in high, and then use our twin touch pedals over here on the right hand side to go in forward and reverse. And I'll show more about that here in just a minute. Now, moving forward, next thing that we're going to have here is going to be our parking brake. This is going to be a standard parking brake that we pull up on to set, push down and release to release that parking brake. Right below that, we're going to have 2 more controls. One is going to be this silver lever right here sticking out. This is going to be our rear differential lock. So if we need to use that, that's going to lock in our rear wheels. We just simply reach back with our heel, push down, and that is going to lock in those rear wheels to make sure that whenever we're in that 4-wheel drive, we're being able to get full grip, full grab with the rear tires as well as the front. Now, right next to that is going to be our four-wheel drive engagement. So right here, this T-handled lever, this is going to be your four-wheel drive. So we pull up to turn on the four-wheel drive, push down to turn it off. That is what that selector is going to do there. Then whenever we move forward here, we are going to have our brake pedals. And as we notice here, these are going to be the twin brakes. They have a lever here in the middle, so we can use those either independently or we can push the lever together and use them at the same time. So how these work is each pedal will control one of the rear wheels. So if you're an experienced operator and you need to use this to do tighter turning, what you can do is if you need to turn harder to the left, we can push the left pedal when they're undone. If we need to turn harder to the right, then we can push on the right pedal whenever they are unclipped, so that we can turn harder to the right. So this is a feature that a lot of people probably aren't going to use that often, but if you're working in barns or in stalls and you're needing to make those tight turns, this is a nice feature to have on this tractor. Moving up here onto the steering column, first thing that we're going to have here to the left of our steering column is going to be our control panel. This is going to have all of these buttons here. Right here, we're going to have our turn signals. This button in the middle is going to control our display up here on the dash. And then what we're going to have down below here, these are going to be our DPF filter buttons here. So when this tractor is going and you're working and it's building up soot, it's cleaning that exhaust, it's filling up that filter. So what it's going to do is this tractor is going to go through a process that's called a regen. So what that does is that's going to heat up that filter, burn out that soot, get rid of it and clean. And these buttons here are what's going to control that. So if we were to want to turn that off, which you do not want to do, right here would be the button to turn it off. This is the button that you would push if you happen to get this indicator light up here on your screen. So if you get that light, that means that you need to put the tractor in park, hit that button, allow it to run and do its cleaning, and when that light goes off on your screen, then you're good to go. Other than that, this tractor is going to do that whole cleaning process on its own, and you don't need to worry. Now, right below that is going to be our light switch here. So this is obviously going to have the off position. We're going to have our headlight position, and then our work light and headlight position over here on the left. Now, nice thing about this tractor, with it being an R series tractor, you are going to have the adjustable steering column. So right here, you can see that with that, I can move that steering wheel, put it in a more comfortable position wherever I need to go. Over here to the right, we are going to have a speed match button here. Now, what this means is that if we have this button engaged in the on position, the harder you push on that pedal, the faster the engine is going to speed up. So it's going to match your engine speed with how hard you're pushing that pedal. Now, this is going to be great for whenever you're traveling, moving this tractor from place to place, so you're not having to raise your RPMs with your actual handle here. It's just the harder we push this pedal, the faster those RPMs go up. And I'll give an example of how that works here in just a minute. So we've already touched on our twin touch pedals over here. These are going to be our two main driving functions. Then if we move over here to the right hand side, we're going to have our integrated loader joystick over here to the right. We're going to have the operational controls listed right here on the panel for that. Then we're going to have our 3-point raise and lower lever right here. So this is going to indicate the positions. Now, these numbers do not indicate any certain type of height. These are just to help you gauge where you need to set that implement. If you need to use that implement at a certain height every time, then you can also use this lock. We can raise this up, set this in position, lock that down, and then every time we go to set our 3-point down, we'll hit in that same position every time. Then we can raise that back up, move our lock back down, and now we have full range of motion with that 3-point whenever we're using it to work. Now, right below that, we are going to have our loader joystick lock. So this is going to be in to lock and out to unlock. This is going to allow you to lock just the joystick itself here. So if you're having to do any work with this machine, you have that loader up, you don't want someone to accidentally bump this lever to mess with the hydraulics and to potentially allow that loader to lower, then you want to make sure and lock that. Now, keep in mind, this is not going to lock out the actual hydraulics. So if you are doing work underneath this machine or underneath the loader for any reason whatsoever, you need to make sure and have something that is holding that loader up into place. But this lock will help with not allowing the lever to actually here to be moved. Now, also up here on the dash, we're going to see we have some pop outs for some additional attachments, but we're also going to have this yellow button here. Now, this is going to be our PTO engagement button. So this is going to be a 3-stage rocker switch. Right now we're in the off position. If we push one click forward, this is going to turn it on. This is going to send power power to the PTO shaft. But to actually get it to start spinning, we have to push down and hold, and you'll actually hear that rear PTO shaft engage. And then if we want to turn it off, then we go all the way down here to the off position. Now we're also going to have a cruise control button right here. So once we got up to the speed we wanted to get at, we could lock that in. Now we're going to be locked in with cruise control just like we would be on our vehicle. And then we have the off position there. Now also over here to our right down here, this is going to be our raise and lower speed for our 3-point. So if we want that 3-point to come up and go down faster, then we would raise that up. We would tighten that up. If we wanted it to go down slower or come up slower, then we would turn that back the other way. So this is going to be good for if we are using this with the ground engaging attachment, or wanting it to lower slower down into the ground, or if we have a really heavy attachment on, we want a little more pressure on that so it doesn't slam down into the ground, then we could really tighten that up to where whenever we use our 3-point lever over here and push it down, that's going to allow those to lower a lot slower rather than use the weight going against the hydraulics and slam that into the ground. Now let's go ahead and turn the machine on. Look at our display here. So we can turn that on and see that we have a really nice bright display. So it's telling me now to go ahead and shift to neutral. So right there, I'm going to shift to neutral. Now I can hit my button over here to the left. We can hit that, and that's going to change our screen. Right there, we're seeing vehicle hours, PTO hours, the soot level of that DPF filter, the exhaust filter, and then back to our engine hours. So that is what our button over here is going to be for. Now let's go ahead and start the tractor up. We're in neutral. We'll fire it up. Over here we're also going to see that we have our parking light. So what we're going to do is go ahead and disengage our parking brake, put it all the way down. Now I'm going to go ahead and raise up my loader, and I'm going to have my throttle lever all the way in the low position, and I'm going to turn off that speed match. So notice here that whenever I have this speed match off, if I start to roll backwards, the RPM of the engine never changes. It's going to stay in that idle. It's going to stay at that speed that is set here by my lever. Now if I turn this on, whenever I push on that forward pedal, it's also raising the RPM of my tractor. So I don't know if you can hear that there, but you can also see it here on the screen. As I'm pushing that pedal, those RPMs are raising. I'll go back forward here. I'm going to push down on it, and you'll hear it really pick up. So that is going to be a really nice feature here on this machine, having that speed match. That's going to be awesome for if you're doing any type of traveling with this machine. If you're going from place to place, that is what that feature is going to be used for. Now, lastly, let's talk about price and warranty. Now, price on this machine as it sits. This is going to be the 2038R, but sort of the basic package of this machine, because we could have some other things added to this machine, such as the lift kits for a drive over deck. We could also have command cut, which is a feature that goes in the cab of this machine that I'll put a video out on, and when I do, I'll make sure to put that down in the link in the description below. But you could add those things to this machine, and as you add those things, the price does go up. But with this machine sitting as it is, with the loader and the tractor itself, we're looking around that $37,000 mark at list price. Now, one thing that I tell everybody in all of these videos is whenever you are looking into buying one of these machines and you see that list price, do not base your judgment off that initial price. What you need to do is you need to go into your dealer. You need to talk to them about any type of discounts there may be, any incentives for buying in your area at your local dealer. Make sure that you get all of those things ironed out before you get that sticker shock of this machine. Now, the other thing too is that whenever you're pricing these machines, these are going to be great options to finance. There are always great finance options. You need to make sure to look into those. And when you're doing that, one thing that sets John Deere apart from a lot of other dealers is going to be their insurance. So John Deere does have in-house insurance that comes with their financing packages. A lot of other companies do too. But what you'll notice is that that rate of the insurance on this machine is going to beat a lot of those competitors almost every time, and can make a big difference on that end of the month payment whenever you're looking at that. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about warranty. So we have a 2-year bumper to bumper warranty on this machine, along with a 6-year powertrain. Both of those are going to be 2,000 hour warranties. So the bumper to bumper, 2-year, 2,000 hours. The powertrain, which is engine and transmission, 6-year, 2,000 hours. Now the one thing about that is you can bump up your bumper to bumper warranty to match your powertrain warranty, or if you want to just add a year or 2 years, whatever those things are, you do have options to do that. So make sure if you're looking at one of these machines, you go in and you talk to your salesman about those things if you are looking for that extra peace of mind with that warranty. It's going to be a great warranty from John Deere. It's going to put all John Deere OEM parts, whenever you have any of those issues, those are going to be the replacement parts that are used, and that's all going to be taken care of there at the dealership. So guys, I hope this video helped you out. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, we just ask you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also guys, if you're looking for any John Deere parts at all, make sure to go check us out at 247parts.com. And as always guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, make sure to check out this cool video and this one. Buy your parts right up here and subscribe right here.